Good afternoon and welcome to your 45. Did you hear that? Because I thought
Did you hear the music?
I thought it was my ear that was playing tricks on me.
But you know what? It's Monday. So if the music plays or doesn't play, I heard it in my head.
Right.
It could be a silent four like the 1920s.
Yeah, right. Read
The
our
talking
lips.
pictures are here.
Hey, welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silber, Tim Buckley, Tanya Rivera, the unlikely trio today. But you know what? Every time we get together, Tanya, you were saying this, something crazy happens.
Stay tuned.
All right, so you might be watching us WFMY News 2 Fire Stick, Roku, the WFMY News 2 app, and we are glad that you are on it.
You might be watching us with the windows open at home because the weather is so nice right now. You know this won't last forever. It is still February. We'll talk about when it goes away coming up.
All right, well, let's get to our top story for this afternoon. And we begin with the Triad woman. She's charged with first-degree murder in her husband's death and was granted a $1 million bond today. Heather Hicks Auman is accused of killing her husband, a Seagrove firefighter. Mishael James Auman was known as MJ. In June, Randolph County deputies found MJ shot in their home on Ridge Road. Investigators said that Heather had called 911 and told the operator that he had shot himself. Detectives later determined that Heather was the one who shot him. We spoke to Heather's attorney, who said they will be proving her innocence when the case goes to trial. Heather still has not entered an official plea.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, Greensboro police are trying to figure out the circumstances surrounding a dead body found near St. Croix Place just off Friendly Avenue. They found the body early this morning but have yet to release any information about how the person died, their identity, or whether the death is suspicious. We will keep you posted. Highway Patrol arrested a driver they say hit and killed a man walking along a Randolph County road. They say Dredrick Cooper hit Joseph Rowbottom as he was walking along Prospect Street this morning. Troopers say Cooper has a suspended license at the time of the crash. Investigators are considering charges. A 21-year-old Greensboro man is facing charges accused of causing a deadly crash Saturday night. Police say Jamari Ingram ran a red light on Randleman Road and collided with another car, killing an elderly woman in the other car. 3 others were hurt. Ingram is now facing several charges. The Biden administration says it's considering further actions against China for that spy balloon incident over the weekend. Meantime, China claims shooting it down off the South Carolina coast was unnecessary. Several people on the ground were recording when a military jet fired a missile at the aircraft Saturday. President Biden says this was the safest place and time to do so. The Senate is expected to get a classified briefing on China's spy capabilities next week.
Well, a Greensboro woman, she was one of the ones who caught the moment that the U.S. fighter jets shot down that Chinese spy balloon. Maddie Bushy-Rains was in North Myrtle Beach when it happened. You see jets flying on the right. There it is, towards the balloon. You then see the balloon explode, and you'll see the bits of the pieces, right, slowly starting to fall towards the ground.
And then a lot more fighter jets came in. I think there was like 4 or 5. And one of them looked like it had lined up perfectly with the balloon. And I was like, I feel like they are about to shoot it down. So I just started rolling and it was the perfect time. I think I caught about almost like 3 minutes of it.
Well, she says she didn't realize that she witnessed a unique moment until really after it happened. She just started filming, hoping to capture it, she said, for her family. And of course, now everybody's going to be watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. And think about all those different videos that kind of really showed it happen. It was incredible that there is video of it, because in these types of incidents where there is national security at risk, you don't see video of it.
No, it's just a wild thing to witness. And you think about Myrtle, this is a place a lot of people go. They're always outside, especially if it's a nice day on the beach, you're kind of looking around. And you might notice this. And there was noise involved, right? Like you heard the explosion part of things too. Is kind of a strange thing. And we're smiling about it, but it's a weird story overall. It's all just very weird.
Right, and so many people, everybody has a different opinion on it, you know, like did we wait too long to shoot it down? Was it even a good idea to shoot it down when we did? Why is China saying that this is a weather balloon when it's really a surveillance balloon? I mean, just it's such a unique story.
Yep.
And I just kind of think like everybody and their brother has their own like thought on what it is, right? And they're all sharing it. So what I want to say is just like, hey, calm down. Let's figure a few things out. Let's see what the briefings say. Let's see what other information we get before we all just start like jumping to all the things.
There is zero chance that any of us have better information than the government does
No.
on this balloon. I would just put it that way.
And
or
we will
anyone
all-
on Facebook.
And we will all get it together, the next information. We're all going to receive it together.
But we got to watch it, that's for
What's
sure.
wild.
Hey, blue sky for shooting down balloons and blue sky for you. Here in North Carolina. We should not take this for granted, by the way. Remember how gloomy it has been over the last couple of weeks? On average, we've seen a lot more rain, a lot more cloud cover as well. That trend has started to come to an end. We're in pretty good shape when it comes to blue sky, not just for today, but honestly for most of the week. That's our view over downtown Greensboro right now. 61 degrees, looking pretty good. Comfortable this afternoon too. High point sitting pretty too at about 62 degrees at this time. And temperatures in your hometowns, all of them are above average. Our average for this time in February is low 50s. So we're about 10 degrees above average from north to southeast to west. The only exception would be up in the mountains. Boone is at 49 right now, but with sunshine, that's not bad for Boone in February. We do have a bit of a breeze. You felt this today. It's coming in out of the north at this time, but that's going to get ready to switch around. We're going to bring in some warmer air and warmer winds over the next couple of days. So this is not a 1-2 day warm up here. This is pretty much all week long that we are going to be warmer than average. And you'll notice there are no close by weather systems to our area. We are sunshine and high and dry for several days. Now, tonight still will get a little chilly. Overnight, we're down into the 30s by midnight. We're at around 32 for tomorrow morning. These are your morning lows. Maybe upper 20s for the coldest outlying areas, but right around 32 for most of the cities. Not a big deal by any stretch at all. For tomorrow, similar to today, basically a carbon copy. The main change would be a little bit more cloud cover, and those are mostly high clouds. So chilly in the morning, warm for the afternoon, still a bit of a breeze at about 60 degrees. That'll be your Tuesday. High pressure still in control, and the real warm day this week, I think, is going to be Wednesday. That's when we'll get southwest winds all day long and we'll surge well up into the mid, maybe even upper 60s. Wouldn't even be crazy for us to hit 70 on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. That's just the kind of weather pattern that we are in right now. Rain showers, can't avoid them completely. We'll have a couple of them rolling our way by Thursday afternoon and evening. Not a washout. Friday though, that's a pretty soggy day. We'll have showers most of the day on your Friday. Temperature still warm, but then after that, we're going to cool down for Saturday and Sunday. Just a normal winter feel with morning lows in the 30s, afternoon highs in the 40s and 50s.
Experts say millions of people are struggling with debilitating fatigue, respiratory, heart, and digestive symptoms after COVID. New research suggests taking some simple healthy steps could prevent these symptoms.
Why do some people suffer long COVID symptoms and others don't? New research in JAMA Internal Medicine looks at 6 lifestyle factors: diet, exercise, not smoking, healthy weight, adequate sleep, and moderate alcohol consumption. Women who have 5 or 6 of these healthy building blocks are about half as likely to get long COVID compared to women who have 1 or 2.
What if Americans all had 5 or 6 of these healthy lifestyles instead of whatever they do have now? And we calculated that about 36% of long COVID cases would have been avoided.
The study looks at data on more than 32,000 female nurses at the start of the pandemic and follows them for a year. Dr. Andrea Roberts with Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health says inflammation may play a critical role.
There have been a bunch of studies to suggest that people who have inflammation in their bodies are more likely to end up with long COVID. And we know that a lot of these healthy lifestyle factors are related to reducing inflammation in your body.
Having a healthy weight and getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night are the strongest lifestyle factors associated with lower long COVID risk.
I think sleep is something we really overlook oftentimes when we're talking about health. And we all know that, our sleep habits maybe aren't the best.
Taking some simple, healthy steps could possibly prevent what for many is a long haul after COVID.
I think the big thing for me on that one was sleep, because I think that is like one of the things where we're like, people always say it kind of like a joke. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And I think they're more apt to eat healthy or do this or do that, but not sleep, because they feel like that's like too much. like too pampering for
Yeah,
themselves.
sleep is healthy, and we think of it
is.
as like a luxury or something,
Yes.
but it is probably a necessity. I'm guilty of it too.
Well, it seems, I mean, the things they suggested are not out of this world crazy. I mean,
No.
they're really just kind of the basic suggestions for living a basic, healthy life. So it's not really doing anything more than you would be doing if you're just trying to be healthy as it is.
It's just doing it.
I think COVID is just so confusing to me, though, because
know.
I have healthy family members that have got hit so hard by COVID, and unhealthy family and friend members that have had a breeze with it, and they've all been, you know, same vaccination status, those things equal. You can't figure out what it is for each person.
So it's hard for the experts to tell us what to do when it seems like they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
You just
Good
got
to
to
be
make the
healthy.
next good decision.
Yes.
Meals, sleeping.
Eating lettuce every day.
Eat lettuce, lots of
every
lettuce.
day. All right.
We'll be right back. It was a big night for big stars, including Beyonce, Harry Styles, and Lizzo. They were among the big winners at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards that you watched right here on WFMY. There were some surprises and groundbreaking moments.
Harry Styles took home the Grammy Award for Album of the Year for Harry's House, in a powerhouse category that also included Lizzo, Beyonce, and Adele.
This is really, really kind. I'm so grateful.
Beyonce picked up 4 awards, bringing her overall total to 32, making her the most celebrated artist in Grammy history.
Trying to just receive this night. Beyonce, whoo!
Lizzo paid tribute to Queen Bee while accepting her award for Record of the Year.
You clearly are the artist of our lives.
Singer Kim Petras became the first transgender woman to win for Best Pop Duo Group Performance with Sam Smith for their hit Unholy.
I just want to thank all the incredible transgender legends before me.
Actress Viola Davis made another bit of history. She won in a spoken word category for the audiobook of her memoir Finding Me, making her an EGOT winner. EGOT stands for Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Davis is now only the 18th person to win all 4 of those trophies.
Just like that.
Bonnie Raitt was visibly shocked to win Song of the Year, beating out superstars including Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
I'm so surprised because they were just massively talented, great tunes.
The Grammys also broke new ground by opening the show with Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny performing in Spanish. And LL Cool J, Run DMC, Salt-N-Pepa, and Queen Latifah were among the nearly 24 artists that took to the stage to celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Of course, you watch the Grammys right here on WFMY News 2, but the Grammy, or at least this Grammy, is in North Carolina for the next month. All right, let me show you this. This is the Power of Women in Country Music exhibit. This is a Grammy Museum curated exhibit, and it is at the North Carolina Museum of History through the end of February.
I think women are powerful in general, but in country music, holy cow, like they're doing a lot of work to push it forward, bring it into the new millennium, the new generation.
This generation stars Casey Musgrave, Taylor Swift, along with Reese Palmer from here in North Carolina. Their fashions, their guitars, they're all on display right alongside the women who blazed the trail before them. You can walk through and enjoy this exhibit any day of the week from now until February 26th. It's $10 for the special exhibit for adults. Kids under 17 are free. And of course, getting into the North Carolina Museum of History is absolutely free.
It is, and right down the block is the Science Museum, also free.
Yes. I mean, these are like gems that you need to go to.
I just love when there's like a traveling tour exhibit where you can see the real clothing and the real guitars. I mean, I don't care what genre of music it is, just to know the history behind that piece of clothing and what it's been through.
And so they also have original lyrics as well, like written on scraps of paper and loose leaf paper and all that other kind of stuff, which I think is also really neat because you're kind of getting like in their mind's eye, like when they were doing it.
Right.
If you're a big fan, I mean, $10 is a bargain.
Yeah, and even if you're really not a country music fan, if you're just a fan of entertainment, right, to see all of those like guitars and all that fashion and those sparkly things everywhere, you're just like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
That's the cool thing about the Grammys. It's not just one type of music, right? You have like just a big variety across the spectrum of all sorts of different performances.
And I was watching the Grammys last night, and I mean, you have to give them credit because how do you evenly space out, you know, the amount of different genres, you know, how do you give everybody their due time, you know?
Right.
And then you think about there are even more genres that aren't even included at all. So, I mean, people are like, come on, I wish you would be more inclusive to other genres.
Or that you just didn't even see.
Right.
Right, because they did them ahead of time.
You could do all of those things if you make it a 12-hour show.
Right.
It's got to be a full day.
And it still's going to run over.
I'm not watching 12 hours.
We'll be right back.
So I tell this to my coworkers too. I hope you can take like 2 minutes, even just 2, to come outside on a day like today and enjoy it. We're lucky this week that we'll actually get several days to enjoy some comfortable air outdoors, but it can brighten your mood. Look at how beautiful the sky is currently. We have blue sky at the moment on all of our weather stem cameras, but also from Greensboro, High Point, Winston, and Burlington, looking in very good shape today. Not a cloud in the sky, so it's very comfortable. It's beautiful as well, and just a really nice day. Speaking of the daylight, the sunlight, you might be getting some of that spring fever this week when it comes to temperature, but also our days really truly do get longer. We're going to gain close to an hour of daylight this month. And take a look here. Sunset tonight is 5:51. We're close to a 6 o'clock sunset, and before you know it, about 5 weeks away, we're off to daylight saving time when sunset will be around 7:30. It's warm here. It's warm all across the Carolinas, and even places like Kansas City are 70 degrees. This time of year, they could also be 5 degrees. So that is something to really be impressed by. High pressure and control for tomorrow. It'll keep us high and dry with lots of sun. Just a few high clouds moving in. That'll keep us in the upper 50s to right around 60, maybe a touch cooler than today. But after that, we really warm up even more. Wednesday should easily get to the mid and upper 60s with no rain, but some of the rain you see there, that is headed our way. So Thursday and Friday, those are the 2 days of the week where rain is going to be a factor. Not tonight though. It'll still be cold, down to around 33 degrees. Tomorrow, pretty pleasant, similar to today, with a high of 59. And looking ahead at the 7-day forecast, hard to beat if you like warm weather, mid-60s through Thursday. But as I said, rain is a big factor for Friday. We cool down for the weekend, but very typical. We're not getting colder than usual, just normal, with highs in the low 50s and then mid-50s.
Well, today on U Day, Coach Lamont highlights the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, and how an impactful statement she once made will remind you of the internal treasure that holds the answers to all of life's questions.
The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, once said this: "Sometimes what you're looking for is already there. For so many of us, time is wasted looking for answers to lingering questions that we already know the answer to. Everything you need to live your best everyday life already exists within you, but it's up to you to awaken it. There is nothing that can stop you but you. Nothing that life can hold you back from except the things that you grant power to. It is time to take back your power from the things that have rendered you powerless and adopt a mindset like Aretha that says this: there is no longer a need to search for anything you already possess. Now's the time to simply know what you already know." This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best U Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow on U Day, Coach Lamont will introduce you to Paul Robeson and share how his African-American performer, how he is helping us today through the future of tomorrow. So you can catch that for sure. So when he talked about Aretha Franklin, all I could think of was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and how well timed this was, right?
That's true. When we just talked about the Grammys, I remember in the house as a kid. My mom had like a collection of albums, CDs, whatever, and Aretha was always on the rotation.
Yes.
And she would kind of be like vacuuming or something and singing along. So I liked Aretha as a kid.
And I think a lot of people at home probably wondering, wait, Coach Lamont, he's back? Yeah, he took some time off, but he is back now. So we should be seeing some advice and just inspiration from him on a daily basis now.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay. All right. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
Maybe you've noticed it when you filled up. Gas prices have been slowly dropping. They're down 8 cents for Greensboro drivers this week, averaging $3.29 a gallon. It's still higher than it was a month ago. Experts say for the first time this year, oil prices are down, which means cheaper prices at gas pumps. It's normal to see lower prices this time of year. Gas analysts say prices are normally the lowest in February. So we'll just kind of wait for it to go up when it gets to spring.
I know, because then it thaws out and then we all want to get going somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you notice this? I didn't notice at all.
That it was 8 cents lower?
No.
I did not.
See, but I think I just drive I sporadically that I fill up like once every 3 weeks.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So by the time I go to fill up, it's drastically different one way or the other than the last time.
Okay.
Cheaper's good. Road trips are fun.
They can be. So I think that to me, there's a time limit. Like if it's more than 5 hours, I do not want to be in the car for that long. There's not enough snacks, there's not enough coffee.
Yeah.
You don't have enough conversation to talk to me for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna say that.
So
5 is your limit.
5 is my limit.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want me to be happy in the car.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
Happy is one thing.
Happy is one thing.
I try not to go for long distances, especially because I typically do it by myself.
Right.
But I'll go to Jacksonville, Florida, which is about 7 hours, and that is the limit.
Do you do it all in one day?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Unless, actually, the last time I went, because get off like 11:45 at night.
Right.
I left the night before and just got a hotel in middle of nowhere, South Carolina, and then got a earlier start the next day.
Everybody has their own little strategies, their own little road trip or
Are
travel
you a road
things.
trip fan?
The longest road trip I ever do is to go to a football game at Penn State where I went to college, and that's like 7.5 hours, which is really long.
Yeah.
But it's a tiny little town. They got a tiny little airport. It's just really hard to get to,
Right.
and it costs an arm and a leg. So I'd rather have my car.
And you could fly into Philly for cheaper, but then you have to rent a car and still
3
do the
hours
driving.
away.
Right.
Oh my, yeah, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, hope the gas is cheap in the summer.
Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll be right back.
Lucky girl.
Yeah. No, you do not need to adjust your hearing aid.
Turn it up, Chad.
Where's that music?
We were having some issues with a device called the DigiCart. It plays all of our music, and
right now it's not playing our music.
It's not playing anything. So if you're watching during the commercial breaks, if you're watching on Facebook, sorry, it's rather boring over there.
You're stuck with us.
We're working on getting it fixed. But anyway, welcome back to the 4 to 5.
Tim was going to sing it.
Tim Buckley.
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
That's what he
Rivera
said.
here. Musicless. Right.
Yeah, we are not going to sing it, but you can talk about the weather instead.
Hey, the weather is a really nice thing to talk about. Might have you whistling in the breeze out there because it's really nice. 60s currently. We'll keep it all week long for a point. And then winter is going to come back. This is a fake spring. Fake spring.
Yeah, so don't get used to it, friends. When you see like 65, 70 degrees, don't think that we're done with winter, because we're not.
It's still February.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, really just a tragic story on the other side of the world. More than 2,300 people died in an earthquake in Syria and Turkey over the weekend. Hundreds of people are believed to still be trapped in the rubble. A 7.8 magnitude quake was followed by a similar one 12 hours later, and dozens of aftershocks caused more buildings to crumble. Turkey sits on one of the world's most active fault lines and is often shaken by earthquakes. This is one of the strongest to hit the area, felt by people 1,000 miles away. That's like people in Greensboro feeling an earthquake that happened in Dallas, Texas. Fencing is going up in Washington, D.C. before tomorrow's State of the Union address. President Biden spent the weekend with advisors at Camp David fine-tuning his speech. He tweeted a picture saying that he is preparing. The photo shows a binder with the first page from his speech and a plate of cookies. The tweet simply says, "Getting ready." It'll be the first time the president addresses a divided Congress where Republicans control the House and Democrats control the Senate.
Well, the Democratic National Committee passed a new primary calendar, which will change the order of state elections. South Carolina is set to host the first primary of the presidential cycle in February 2024. Traditionally, the Iowa caucuses have started the primary season.
We mentioned your fake spring. It is in full effect right now. Temperatures have really warmed quite a bit since this weekend. Remember when we were still quite cold on Saturday? Not the case anymore. We're in the 60s now everywhere across the Piedmont. 59 Mount Airy, a little exception, but 61 in Greensboro, Burlington, 62 in Siler City and Lexington. It's just a real cozy kind of day for sure. A little bit of a breeze. You'll have to deal with that if you're out and about out of the northwest. Winds are coming in at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. But notice you truly can't find a cloud in the sky today, and I don't think we'll see any before the sunset at about 5:51. Winds are breezy. They're coming in out of the north right now, which is going to give us a little bit of a chill tonight. We're dropping down into the 30s pretty quickly. By around midnight, we'll already be around 35, and then tomorrow morning, maybe there's a touch of frost on your windshield, but I kind of doubt it. We're only right around 32 early on tomorrow, and then we're going to warm right back up. So this is a warm up that lasts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even into Friday of this week. We're going to still see that well above average weather. So here's tomorrow, 30s in the morning, upper 50s to near 60 for the afternoon. Could see a couple of clouds, just thin ones that filter out the sunshine. No big problem though. High pressure still driving the bus with our weather, and we'll have easy going for the next couple of days. You know we have rain coming in eventually though. It's been a very soggy pattern. That will start to come back by the end of the week. So you can see by the Wednesday, we start to have rain pushing into Tennessee. It'll avoid us at first, but by Thursday afternoon, that's when we have to bring the shower chance back into the forecast. And then I think by Friday, that truly is going to be a wet day of weather. So Thursday is kind of half and half. Friday is more of an all day kind of a soaker for sure. Now Saturday and Sunday, you have a dry weekend to enjoy. We won't take that for granted, but 50 on Saturday, that's kind of deceiving. It'll be breezy and it will be cold feeling to you on Saturday. Sunday, a little less windy, but still chilly with temperatures in the 40s most of your day.
The highest-ranked men's basketball recruit in North Carolina A&T history has yet to play a single game. Duncan Powell was ranked number 84 overall in the class of 2021. The forward injured his knee in high school and missed his senior season, but also missed his freshman season at A&T because of it. He's gone more than 700 days without playing, but that's all about to change.
Man, you gotta understand, a lot of people don't get this. Like, whenever your entire life is basketball, you want to play basketball professionally. After basketball, you want to be involved with basketball. Like, it's crazy because I got hurt at 17 years old. My first game wasn't until I was 20. So it's like putting your whole life on pause. Like, it felt like I was in jail or something. Like, I just had to sit there every day and wait for my knee to get better. It was a long process. it was crazy mentally because not being able to do what I love. It's an unexplainable feeling, honestly. Like thinking I'd never be able to play again and then being able to play and compete at a high level when my last game was in 11th grade, like it's really unexplainable. I don't even know how to explain it.
Once he got going, I mean, he doesn't favor the knee and to think about it at all, because at first he favored it, you know what I'm saying? But now he's comfortable and he's healthy and you know, playing good basketball for us. He's gonna keep it positive the whole time, good or bad. He takes coaching, and that's what I like about him. Sky's the limit for him.
It used to be like, dang, I don't feel like practicing today. You know, them thoughts might still come, but I have a big reminder now, you know, I'm blessed to be here. This is a privilege to even be able to play basketball. Even when I'm having bad days or I get into it with my teammate or the coaches or whoever, like, I miss that feeling, like not being able to have good days, bad days, everything that comes with the process. Like, I love the process. So, you know, that's the biggest part.
Powell has family ties with the Aggies. His cousin Adrian was part of the team that played in the 2013 NCAA tournament. Powell and North Carolina A&T are playing at home Wednesday at 7 against Elon. I couldn't even imagine being an athlete at that level and being so good and having to miss so much time.
I mean, 3 years almost feels like a lifetime at that stage, don't you think?
Well, think about it. It's 3/4 of your college career.
Yes.
3 years almost. I would assume, though, that he's going to have eligibility remaining, right?
Right.
So he could be a 24-year-old senior, right? Is that possible? Yeah.
And I also think, you know, what a great message to remind yourself, you know, that whole practice thing. Oh, I used to hate having to go to practice. I don't feel like going to practice. And he's like, now it is a privilege to go to practice.
That's kind of what they say. You need to have something taken away to appreciate it, I guess. So, you know, if someone said you can't do the news for like 2 months, we would probably miss it. Don't you think?
And the fact,
I think so,
and the fact
for
that
sure.
it's the highest rated recruit in North Carolina A&T history.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm hopeful that boy, they can finish out the season strong.
Right. And get to that tournament, and we'll be filling in their name in the brackets.
Yeah, perseverance. Stick with it. We'll be watching for sure.
All right, we'll be back.
And the Grammy goes to...
All right, Shania Twain showing off her fashion and almost stealing a little thunder from the winner last night at the Grammys. All right, so I bring this up because this was her look last night, right? And then you see the tuxedo dress that's on the right-hand side. That was her look during that iconic video music, right, thing of Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Okay, so we all remember that. And that look is on display at the North Carolina Museum of History right now.
That's so cool.
So that's one of the outfits you can
That
wear
is one of the outfits that you can see. Yeah, and I mean, we all remember that music video.
I am very bad knowing a lot of pop culture music things, but I know that one for sure.
Okay.
So that means everybody knows.
That means everybody
Everybody knows.
And so her fashion, just one of the many items on display. So I want you to check it out. You're going to find the dresses, the shoes, the boots, the guitars of women in country music. The exhibit is called The Power of Women in Country Music. It is a Grammy Museum curated traveling show. And while it is a lot of glitz, it is a lot of glamour, there are originals of many of the songs that they wrote and a behind the scenes look at where those songs came from.
When you look at the lyrics, like, women have such a unique perspective of life as like mothers and daughters and wives. So many of the lyrics that they're singing speak to that experience, and I think so many of the listeners want to hear that because it's so relatable. But I'll also say that I think women are a little more fearless in their songwriting than their male counterparts. We hear a lot of songs on the radio about beer and trucks and parties. Not to say people don't want to hear that too, because I know they do. It does so well. But for these gals to talk about the pill or the 9-to-5 work day.
All right, we're going to talk about what she said in just a minute, Chad, because I know you've got an opinion. But the exhibit is at the North Carolina Museum of History in Raleigh. It is free to get into the museum. It's $10 for adults to get into this exhibit. Kids 17 and under are free. And this runs through February 26th. And if you scroll down on their webpage, you can see some videos. You can get an up-close look at some of the cool fashions and guitars that you will see on display when you go there. What do you think about, you know, those guys? They're just singing about, you know, beer and parties.
I mean,
broken trucks and dogs.
There is a lot of truth to that. I mean, because, you know, in country music, the men are highly regarded as manly men.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes people don't want to hear a manly man talk sensitively or talk about sensitive subjects. I agree. I mean, and I feel like women just in general are more freely open to talk about that kind of stuff without being judged.
Okay.
Would you agree?
I think so. I mean, we definitely have a softer side, right? But I like the fact that she's talking about that they're tackling other subjects as well, like work life or, you know, whatever, so that it can be a little bit on the harder side too.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples. I'm thinking that fried chicken, cold beer Friday night song. This is what they always joke about with country music, right?
Right, yes.
Yes.
So she's kind of bringing that out. But there are some good songs too. And the whole exhibit is about the fashion too,
Yes,
that you
for
can
women.
look at.
Yes.
And it is kind of neat just to feel like they wore those clothes, they wrote these song lyrics out, and you can kind of just be right on the other side of the glass.
Well, and it's all the way from, you know, back to the ones that really blaze the trail. We're talking like Dolly Parton, right? And Loretta Lynn, and Tanya Tucker, Shania Twain, all that kind of stuff. And then all the way up till now. So you have Casey Musgrave, you have some North Carolina folks, you've got Taylor Swift's Cabin that she used at the Grammys last year, you know, and she did that whole mix up of folklore and stuff like that. So, you know, Swifties, come on out. I'm just saying.
It's a bargain.
All right, so February can be a tough and cold month. It's gray. This is an event you can look forward to and be inside.
All right, I've got an echo in my ear. Okay. All right, I am talking about date ideas, and that echo is gone. Thank you very much.
For many, this is considered the month of love, thanks to Valentine's Day, or Singles Day, like I like to call it. Whether you're in a new relationship or you've been together for a while, keeping the flame burning strong is essential. Blanca Cobb has some advice for date night. Blanca, thanks for being here today. For new relationships, you say you have to have a date that includes a couple of activities. Why is that?
When you have a date that spans over a little bit of time and you do a couple of activities, you feel like you know this person. You know them better. It feels like you've had more than one date. Most dates, it's like you go to dinner and you part ways. But if you go to dinner and then you take a walk, or let's say you go play pickleball or whatever, you do something, you get to know the person a little more, because dinner is probably conversation, but when you do an activity, you see a different side of them. You're going to see if they're relaxed, you're going to see if they're competitive. It just gives you more information, and it makes you feel like you just know them better, like I said.
People will always say, oh, I had a terrible first date. What would be like an example, like something that you would suggest against for a first date because it just has all of the markings of what could be a bad date?
Normally, there aren't any surprise first dates. You and your date are going to talk about what you're going to do. If you don't want to go to a movie, don't agree just to be agreeable. Say, hey, a movie would be a great idea another time. Instead, why don't we try a hike? Or there's this new park that I've been wanting to go to. What do you think? When you're talking through ideas, you also get a sense from about this other person, whether you have some similarities or not. So even those small discussions can really be revealing.
Now, for well-established couples, you say to shake it up a bit. So what would you suggest?
Oh, yeah. You want to shake it up because you have this comfortable silence. It's almost like the same old, same old. You're going to go to the same restaurant and then you're going to come home and then you're going to watch a movie. You have to do something different. If you want something different, you want some more spice in your love life, shake it up. So this means, like, for example, let's say you don't like cooking or you don't think you're good at cooking. Actually cook for you and your partner. Have a dance party. If you like music, you can dance to one song or have a dance party for 10 to 15 minutes, whatever, at home. But the point is doing something that you don't normally do. One, it's fun. Two, it's interesting. And it gives you something to talk about because you feel like, wow, I didn't realize that you like to dance, or you can carry a tune better than what I thought you could. It just makes it fun.
And what's one thing that can disrupt a couple's fun?
Criticism. If you think whatever it is that you're doing, you could do it better, or, oh, I shouldn't be cooking because I really stink at cooking and they're not going to like what I'm making, or do you really have to use that sauce because my mom prepares it with this different kind of sauce and it really brings out the flavor. Gosh, criticism just takes the fun out of all of it. Just enjoy it and have fun with each other.
All right, some good advice, Blanca. Thank you. You can continue the conversation with her on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert. We'll be right back.
Hey there, lots more sunshine. We still have it in place right now. We got about an hour left to enjoy it. Sunset coming up at 5:51 this evening. Take a look. It's low in the sky as we look over UNC Greensboro and over on Wendover as well. Wake Forest seeing blue sky in Winston-Salem. And we have a clear view on all of our News 2 sky cameras. Bottom line, it's just a sunny day. It's really nice and it's above average. If you're kind of looking forward to spring a little bit, we are gaining a lot of daylight every single day. If you have a routine at any of these times, you're already probably noticing that difference every day as well. That's our sunset for today, but in a couple of weeks, we're already going to be pushing 6 o'clock. And then by 5 weeks from now, we do our daylight saving switch. And that's when we go to about a 7:30 sunset. I believe that's that second weekend of March, which honestly is not that far away. 60s are across the Carolinas right now, and much of the country is above average after the weekend deep freeze has just exited stage right. Not an issue anymore. Winter not over, but it is definitely taking a break for this week. I expect things to get about the same tomorrow, but a little warmer by Wednesday. And this rain that you see, that will be our problem eventually. Let me show you when. Let's look at our 7-day forecast. By Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, that's when we start to see some scattered showers. And then by Friday, that's more of an all-day washout kind of a problem. For the weekend, well, it's another dry one. That's a good thing, but it'll feel a lot chillier, much cooler for your winter weekend.
Pickleball, love it, hate it, not sure what you think about it. It's just everywhere. It's not just a sport, it is a conversation starter, especially when people are talking about their injuries.
I would say the biggest misconception with pickleball is that just because it's on a smaller court means that you don't need to do the proper warm-ups and have a basic foundation. It's still a sport that requires a fair amount of speed, agility, strength and power. So I think it's important for patients to have a foundation. They need to be doing something other than just pickleball. They need to be making sure they're having a flexibility program, whether that's yoga, basic strength training, just to have a solid base.
Experts say they saw an increase in injuries from pickleball in patients older than 50 when the sport gained popularity. They say the cause is people tending to let their guard down, not taking it seriously that it actually is a sport.
Oh.
It is unbelievable how this sport has taken off across all sorts of generations.
Oh yeah, I think it's young, it's old, it's everywhere in between.
It looks so small to me.
Yeah,
the court looks small, so
court.
It kind of looks like you're putting real humans on a ping pong table. You're just like flicking it back and forth. I don't know how they ever get the ball down because it's so tiny.
And it's like a wiffle ball thing, isn't it? It's like a plasticky kind of ball. It's not like a tennis-y kind of ball.
I'm not even sure, but my parents are obsessed with it.
Well, of course, because they live in Florida in the winter.
Right, and that's all they do every single day. They have this league that they always play in. I mean, good for them, it's good exercise.
I didn't think any of my friends were into it, and then just the other day someone's like, so do you play pickleball? And I was like, no.
I've noticed anyone who plays pickleball talks about it nonstop.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like pickleball evangelists. Like, we want to recruit new members.
Yes.
Right. Chris Kelly on the Two Guys Named Chris show. Every morning, if you tune in,
every morning he talks about pickleball.
Pickleball Digest.
So true.
Sure.
That's great.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, Chris.
No.
Enjoy.
We love the pickleball.
Just warm up, yoga.
He's pretty good too. Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Good luck.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. Let me see if I can get this.
Hello, it is a Monday afternoon in Greensboro. 1, 2.
My 2 cents is a little different. I want to take some time to acknowledge a loss.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have a question for you, and I'm
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Hannah is on, or she used to be on an award-winning a cappella group.
Today's My 2 cents is a little different. I want to take some time to acknowledge a loss in our community. Former state senator Jerry Tillman passed away over the weekend. He represented the Triad for almost 2 decades, working his way up to become the majority whip and the chair of several key committees. A former teacher and coach, he liked to focus on education issues, like increasing mental health treatment for students. I first met him while investigating teachers that were chronically absent from the classroom. As soon as Tillman heard about the problem, he came up with a great idea to help, a bonus program for teacher attendance.
I think if there's $1,000 on the line, I wouldn't be sick.
People who know him well say that was Jerry, always there trying to find solutions. That said, there were lots of folks who disagreed with him at times. He sponsored the controversial voter ID bill that's still being fought about in the court system years later. The bottom line, though, Republican or Democrat, agreeing with his policies or not, someone who devotes that much of their life to public service deserves our respect. That's my 2 cents. WFMY News 2 at 5 is next.
A woman accused of murdering her husband made her first court appearance today in Davidson County.
Prosecutors believe Heather Hicks Auman killed Seagrove firefighter MJ Auman last June. She's now facing first-degree murder and could soon be out on bond. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake was in that courtroom today.
Heather Hicks Auman has been in jail since June 29th, 2022.
We were asking for bond to be set in the case of Heather Auman.
She's charged with murdering